listeners, to the Cosmic Confluence podcast with your host, Sana, where spirit meets strategy and soulful seekers gather to expand into this multidimensional truth. Now, listeners, today's conversation it's special because it's not just a dialogue, it's an activation. We are diving into the powerful exploration of shadow work, how our unhealed wounds, ancestral imprints, and energetic distortions can block abundance and spiritual alignment. And listeners, joining me is someone whose presence is both fierce yet gentle, grounded and galactic. Meet Keri Nola. She's lovingly called the Shadow Mama and Receptivity Queen and has spent her life transmuting pain into purpose, scarcity into sacredness. She mentors healers and spiritual entrepreneurs to remember who they are, harmonize giving and receiving, and serve from overflow, not depletion. So, if you have ever felt that unseen forces, those old patterns, emotional density, or maybe ingrained, inherited beliefs, they are standing in the way of your inner calling or your soul's calling, or maybe your financial flow, I hope this conversation does something greater good for you. So, with that, Kerry, welcome to the show. And I'm really, really so happy and honored to have you here with us.
Oh, thank you, Santa. I'm really looking forward to it, and I am already excited. I love the words that I'm hearing, galactic and sacred, and it's like you're speaking my language already.
Thank you so much, Kay. Thank you. I mean, it's so interesting, and I would love to know this. Probably we didn't explore this in details in our last podcast, but I would love to understand. What exactly is shadow work? I mean, in like what does it mean in the day-to-day sense?
Yeah, I think it's all I'm glad to be able to answer this because I think it's confusing for a lot of people, and I don't know that people have an accurate sense about it. For some, when they hear shadow work, it feels like something really scary or dark.
Mm.
For me, shadow work is really just shining a light on the unseen. And the unseen is both our gifts and also our hardships that may have gotten tucked away because they were too painful to face at a particular time when perhaps we didn't have the inner or outer resources to be able to do that. Um, and I love working with both because I find that as people shine a light inside of themselves, they find some really beautiful treasures. Often, when we've experienced any trauma or challenge or suffering in life, one of the ways that our psyche protects us is by rallying around our gifts so that they are protected and they're held sacred and safe. So that when later in life we're in a position to go and excavate them, they're still there and available for us. So oftentimes we'll find that aspects of our inner child, for example, might be hiding in the shadows, maybe a sense of innocence or playfulness or a way of being that wasn't safe to express, a way that we talk, or perhaps we're loud and very expressive, and our family couldn't tolerate that or didn't know what to do with it. And those are really important aspects of us to have online so that we can fulfill our soul's purpose and mission. We're not meant to operate compartmentalized. We're meant to have all aspects of us available and operating on all cylinders to be able to serve and share ourselves with humanity at this really important time that we're all experiencing and navigating together.
Hmm. That so much makes sense. I mean, you rightfully said that, whenever people would hear shadow, I mean, they'll instantly connect it with something negative or dark force. But, as you rightly said, it isn't always dramatic. It's subtle. So, um, Kerry, I mean, we have explored your journey. I mean, how you um got through a personal health crisis that kind of helped you explore your identity once again, how you shifted your life path to support others as well in overcoming those scarcity blocks. Um, I would love to understand if you can give an example from your own journey, or maybe someone you have guided through that, veil.
Yeah, I think, I have my messages from Shadow Oracle deck close by. I think we'll be playing with that in a moment. And I'm drawn to share that moment in time with the listeners because that's my own awakening where shadow work healed me first. I'm a believer that I don't take anyone anywhere that I haven't been willing to go myself. So anything that I facilitate or guide others through is something that I have gone through first because I feel, one of my mentors in graduate school when I was studying to be a psychotherapist said something that touched me deeply and stuck with me. And that is, we can only ever take people as far or as deep as we ourselves have gone. So I have a deep commitment and devotion to my own healing and my own practice. And shadow work has always called to me personally, and I wanted to facilitate and hold space with others for that. But it wasn't until I really traversed this particular shadow of my own and illuminated it and came out on the other side, even more like whole and connected to myself and my wisdom, that I felt qualified or prepared to do that. So you mentioned this health crisis that I had, and part of what was hiding in the shadows was that I was ignoring that I was more than a psychotherapist. I was hiding my spiritual gifts from myself and from the world. I was deeply intuitive since early childhood. I would have premonitions of things that would happen. I knew things about people that they never told me, and I could move into a space and feel something that happened there. And I hadn't read that or been told anything. But yet, I went through a very traditional training process, in, mental health, and that wasn't really talked about, how we incorporate that aspect of ourselves, in this spiritual and intuitive sense with people. So I hid it and hid it so deeply that I kind of hid it from myself. And that, I believe, really contributed to this illness that wasn't able to be diagnosed by any, uh, you know, traditional physician. It was a spiritual mentor and advisor that said to me, you're going through the process of a death, the death of this identity of yourself. And I went into meditation to inquire more about this from my own soul, my own inner knowing. And 33 energies revealed themselves to me in this place. And they said that they were messages from shadow. And they told me that I had gifts to be able to share that were more spiritual in nature, and that I was to bring forth this body of work called the Messages from Shadow Oracle Deck and Healing System. And I really rejected it at first because I didn't see myself as a, a psychic or an intuitive healer or as someone who was meant to bring through oracle cards. I was a therapist. I thought I was supposed to sit on a couch and review people's past and trauma and, help them move into a meaningful future. And that was a part of who I was and what I was able to do and very gifted at. But there was more. And when I listened to that more, my body healed. Uh, my spiritual gifts came more online and more available, and the work became even more profound that I was able to offer because I was no longer hiding this way of being that I was always meant to be sharing. And I think in many ways it was sneaking out with my work and my life before this time, but it uh, it now got more airtime and got to be more explicitly available.
Mhm. It feels, so good, when you are in your truest and authentic self. Professionally also, that's a different kind of, being, the feeling of being. And of course, I'm so curious to know, Kerry, as you mentioned that you had these gifts within you, this premonitions, or you could have that feeling, looking at, or maybe talking to a person about, some kind of, what exactly is bothering that person, or internally why they are in that particular state of mind. So W- what kind of hints or messages did you get? I mean, were they through dreams or visions or signs or maybe nature? I'm really curious to know. And this is personally of a great curiosity to me.
Yes. Oh, there's so many ways that spirit talks to us, right? That's what I hear in this question, and I am a sensor. So I tend to sense and know things, and that's how so for me it mostly came up when I was relating with another. It was less about when I was alone, or but it was more in relationship with other people, and it came very available in my family, for example, or with certain clients, and it felt like it was even louder and more available in environments where it was accepted or like welcomed, where I had a sense that, like, oh, when I share something that I'm seeing or sensing or knowing, and this person is curious about it, they give permission for it, they want to know more, it was like that unlocked the floodgates. Whereas when I was around people or an environment where that didn't feel interesting or welcome, then it was like it kind of got locked up. So it was always there, but it was sometimes louder and more apparent than other times.
Wow, that is really really awesome. Okay, so Terry, let's go with this. So I guess our listeners would love to see how exactly this entire process works. So
Sure.
uh, I'll hand over the stage to you, and yeah, good.
Yeah, well, I would love to just introduce everyone to the messages from Oracle Shadow Deck and Healing System. This is a deck of originally 33 energies came through, and then a 34th revealed itself after that original meditation. And the last card that came is the ancestor code. It was revealing that there are shadows that we're carrying that we've inherited from our ancestry, from our lineage, generations and generations ago. And that also needed a voice inside of this particular healing system. There's also a card that represents past life shadows that we can look at. Shadows related to our relationships, to our purpose, to finances and money. So I love the versatility of how this energy can be hiding in a lot of different areas of our life. And
Mm,
I may have said this to you before, but it feels relevant now that there's nothing more frustrating than like feeling stuck or stagnant and going to different resources for information, answers, reflections of truth, and hearing, it's okay, like you're doing great, you're on track. It's like, well, why does it feel like this then? Like there's got to be some information somewhere that could help me make sense of this. Even if it doesn't get better right away, there's a reason and a rhyme for everything. And sometimes I don't know that we're meant to know it, but I do think we have more access than we might realize. And I was tired of looking at all of these angel card decks and oracle cards that just kept telling me everything's great. You're on track. You're just moving through this passageway, and I'm like, yes, that feels true. And what am I missing? Like, where do I need to look more precisely to acknowledge a pattern? And that's what this deck is. What I was told was, "You're not seeing that out there because it's yours to bring forth." And I'm not saying this is the only resource that has the power to do this, there's certainly others, but I, for whatever reason, was not finding those resources because I needed to be the one to bring this forth. First to heal myself, and then as an offering to those who wanted to experience it. Yeah.
mm, yeah. So can you do like a reading or maybe the
Yes,
shadow work that you do for our
absolutely.
listeners
Yes.
or maybe for me? And I just want to know, I mean, how exactly it works.
Absolutely, Santa. Let's do it both ways. So, how I like to do this is I'm going to shuffle the cards and I'm going to request because energy knows no time or space, it is infinite. So, regardless of when you are hearing this, you are able to tune in to the frequency of this message. So, I'm going to I'm going to do reading one and reading
Mm,
two. So I want you to be feeling whether or not the message from the first reading is meant for you or
mm,
the second reading. So just
okay.
close your eyes and take a breath and feel whether the energy of cards one or cards two are yours to receive. Now, obviously, you can do the healing for both. Shadows are not personal. We all carry all of these energies. There's just different moments in time when we are asked to focus on, prioritize, I say, the healing of particular things. You might also call into your awareness a particular area of life where things feel stuck or stagnant, where you're wanting this cosmic mirror to reflect you back to what is the energy that I need to see more clearly. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, would you like to reveal for us, Santa, whether you were called to one or two? And then, yeah, we'll reveal this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which one are you feeling for yourself? Was it one or two?
I'll go with two.
Okay, beautiful. Um, Let's do 2 first then. We'll gotta go backwards here and trick everyone, go out of order. Okay, so, this is beautiful. Now, there are, a couple of light cards or amplifier cards in the deck, and when those come, they are really letting you know that there's some extra oomph or, like, cosmic support for you to move this energy, and that's actually came forth with both of these readings today. So, the first card that came forth for the people that picked number two was divine support. So, this means that you have divine support that's rallying around you right now to help you clear this particular shadow pattern. Now, obviously, we always have divine support to some degree, but there's a reason right now why you really are being advocated for and really helped with this particular pattern. And the pattern is the shadow of power. The shadow of power. And this energy clears in the solar plexus, where we take our power back, and also where we notice where we're misusing our power. And what I want everyone to hear right now is oftentimes we think of the misuse of power as overusing our power, taking advantage of someone, being aggressive or violent or power over someone. And yes, that might be coming up for some of us, but I want you to hear this part because I think this is probably more relevant. Underusing your power or denying it is also a misuse of your power.
Mm,
It is out of balance with the truth of who you authentically are. To be able to stand in your power, acknowledge how powerful, how potent you are, and like who you're here to be and what you're here to do and to have. And that's what I'd like to do a clearing around for everyone right now, particularly who picked this, because we've got this cosmic divine support rallying to help us repair our relationship with power where we're overusing it. And perhaps even more importantly, for those of us who are drawn to this kind of sacred work, is how we're underusing it or
amazing.
denying it. How does that resonate for you, Santa, before I move into the healing mantra and we do some clearing work here?
I never looked at this from, this perspective that underusing power because yeah, you are right. Whenever we hear about power, it's either we kind of draw a picture within our mind that yes, somebody's overusing or misusing power, harming someone else. But underusing is something that we don't maybe we don't want to think about it because I mean, don't know the reason, but that is really, really surprising. So I'm
Yeah.
really curious to explore on this.
And I love how you mentioned harming someone else because when we underuse our power, we harm ourselves. Right?
Yeah.
And that matters too. So there's harm anytime something is out of alignment, right? If we're
Mhm.
over or under using something, it's out of integrity. We have to bring
Mhm.
it back into right relationship. And I think we ignore harming ourselves. We're so aware we don't want to hurt anybody else. But what about the ways where we are not connected to the truth of ourselves and how harmful that is to us and our path? How we see ourselves is so intimately connected to how we let ourselves move in the world, what we let ourselves say and do and create. And for those of us that are here to help with the evolution of humanity, it's really important that we are realizing what our gifts are and where our power lives so that we can do the work we came here to do without it being watered down or diluted in any way. So I'm going to take out the messages from Shadow booklet. Each card has a reading, and these are all channeled. So even though I technically wrote it, I forget because they're not my words. So let me look here to what wants to be. Uh, yeah. So the energy of power is at play here. Collectively, we have become very confused about the truth of power. This card
Mhm.
comes to invite you back home to the truth of your power, beyond the illusions of fear that often lead us to minimize or overuse our power. The reminder in this moment is that your power lives in your truth. It lives in the deeply sacred connection to your willingness to honor yourself even when others aren't willing to. The power card offers you this question. Are you willing to be honest with yourself about how you are under or overusing your power and make a choice that resonates with your divine power moving forward? And there's a healing mantra with every card. So I'm going to invite you to repeat this after me to activate this healing in your own system.
Mhm.
I am worthy of standing firmly in the truth of who I am.
I'm worthy of standing firmly in the truth of who I am.
This is the home of my divine power.
This is the home of my divine power.
Beautiful. I invite you to place your right hand on your solar plexus just above your belly button. And now that you've heard the mantra once, we'll just make contact with our power center here and we'll say it again. I'll do it with you. I am worthy of standing firmly in the truth of who I am.
I am worthy of standing firmly in the truth of who I am.
This is the home of my divine power.
This is the home of my divine power.
And just take a breath here and allow your relationship with power to begin reorienting. What if it didn't have to be hard? What if there was nothing for you to do or to make happen? But simply with this declaration, this awareness, there's a shift that gets to happen in the way your energy organizes. And you can find yourself remembering how powerful you are and how that power is meant to be utilized. So just listening here for any words of wisdom that your higher self, your cosmic team of guides might want to deliver to you. It's also important that we not outsource our power to others, waiting for them to have our answer, our truth, our light, our way. They can be a reflection, but ultimately, we need to come back to our own sovereignty, our own sense of self, our own knowing, our own relationship with the divine, and operate from that spot. And so I ask that a one way portal to source be opened in each of our spaces now so that all the energy that doesn't resonate with right relationship to power can be alchemized fully and completely through all time and space, unsubscribing from every idea, belief, behavior, or pattern that would have you continuing to be out of right relationship with the truth of your power. Clearing, clearing, clearing. inviting our guardians, guides, and protector allies to support us in this alchemization and transmutation process that we know is underway. May this continue to unravel in the days and weeks and months to come in the most gentle and profound way as we now close this one way portal to Source, keeping it free and clear from any interference. Our space, our body, our mind, our spirit, clear, cleansed, purified, moving with fresh perspective. And so it is. Beautiful. So that is shadow work in action.
That was kind of meditative, actually. Very.
Yes. Yes. And I like to do it that way because I feel like there's like we're involved. We're not doing heavy lifting or hard work. If something's hard work, it's probably a piece of healing that you're trying to rush or force. Yes, healing can be hard at times, but I also love just the letting it be gentle, letting it happen. And I know we're getting close on time, so I would love, do we have time for the other cards to be?
Okay, please go
Okay,
ahead.
beautiful. So, this doesn't always happen, but for you all, it did. So if you selected the card set number one, the ancestor code wants to be involved here. So anytime this is selected, there's it's saying that this is a shadow pattern that is in the ancestral lineage that wants to be cleared on behalf of all generations. So as you do this work, you not only clear and clean this up for yourself, you clear it up for past generations and future generations as well. One of my mentors once said, "What is repressed by one must be expressed by another." So for the incomplete healings in the family line, like that just gets passed down and passed down and passed down until someone finally expresses and does the work to bring that pattern to completion. This is why we often see patterns of abuse or addiction over and over and over in the generations until someone says, "This stops with me," and they don't carry that on. And then we see less and less of it in the family line. So the shadow that wants to heal in the ancestry is entitlement, the shadow of entitlement. And this clears in the root chakra. And interestingly, I want to give a perspective shift on this one as well. When we think of entitlement, we usually think of being overly entitled, like taking more than what is ours. But another shadow of entitlement is not claiming what you are entitled to, not
Yeah.
claiming what is rightfully yours. So, yes, let's clean up the ways that we're overly entitled or taking uh, and not leaving for others. But let's also tune into those places where we're taking last for ourselves. We're taking crumbs. We're settling for so much less than we are entitled to. Like it is our birthright to receive what we came here to receive. And it is our job on our life path to be discovering what that is. Like, what is mine? What is mine? One of my favorite prayers is, what would you have me have? What do you want for me, source? And when we're in right alignment with that, everything tends to fall into place and things are easier. They move with more grace. One of my teachers calls it like the golden path, right? Your path becomes like lit with golden light. So yeah, I want to show this image again. These images are energetically encoded. They're 5 layers deep. I co-created these with an intuitive artist friend of mine. So even just looking at the image sends signals to your cells to begin to break up this energy and dissolve these patterns. Let's go ahead and call on the booklet. Wow, this really wants to heal. I opened right to it. It's like, yes, do it. Um, yeah, are you willing to give yourself permission to shine brightly while others simultaneously do the same? The shadow of entitlement can express itself as not standing fully in your infinite right to experience peace, love, abundance, joy, and support, or buying into the illusion that you are more entitled than another. Tune in and see if either or both of these ways of expression are at play and intend for healing around this pattern as you feel ready. Let's move together with this healing mantra. If you'd like to repeat after me,
Yeah.
I am worthy of being seen and heard.
I am worthy of being seen and heard.
So I give myself permission to stand in my spotlight.
So I give myself permission to stand in spotlight.
Yes. So, knowing that each of us has a divine spotlight. So, when we stand in our light and we're bright, we're not taking anyone's spotlight away from them. That's a story that we create to not have to be big and bright and radiate because it's scary sometimes to do that. Because the more seen we are, the more feedback we can get from other people, potential rejection, or also potential connection and acceptance. Like our mind doesn't go there, but it helps us to filter what's not resonant and to attract what is. That's one of the gifts of visibility and being entitled to claim what is meant for us. So before we say the mantra again, I'm called to ask that you tune in to something that you would like to claim. Perhaps this is a quality of energy in your life, more peace, more ease, more clarity. Let's go with that. What is the quality of energy that you want to claim, that you are entitled to? Just feel that now. Bring your awareness to your root chakra at the base of your spine. Maybe find yourself sitting up a little bit taller. And now let's repeat this healing mantra with this claim in your mind, your heart, your awareness. I am worthy of being seen and heard.
I am worthy of being seen and heard.
So I give myself permission to stand in my spotlight.
So I give myself permission to stand in my spotlight.
Beautiful. And once again, I'm just going to open that one way portal to source. So anything that is not resonant with what you're entitled to is able to move into this one way portal to source, returning to source as we alchemize, clear, cancel, and delete through every timeline, past, present, future, parallel, through all time and space, every lifetime, dimension, universe, and reality. Just transmuting and alchemizing this energy in the ways that are most useful and true for you at this present time. Stepping into your sovereignty, feeling the presence of your ancestors, their gratitude, their honoring, their acknowledgement of you being willing to do this work, to heal your ancestral line, to free and liberate your lineage from this pattern. No more settling for less. No more forgetting the truth of who you are and what you are entitled to. And as that energy clears from the space, we close this one way portal to source, thanking our guardians, our guides, our protector allies that were present with us for both readings today, honoring the healing that happened and honoring the clearing and upgrading that will continue to unravel in the days and weeks and months to come. We continue to stay connected to ourselves and to the places and spaces and relationships that can point us back to the truth of who we are. And so we have done it. It is done. And so it is. Nice deep breath, just feeling yourself, what's shifted on the other side of this. And yeah, thank you. I'm just so grateful to be able to offer this sacred work. And I do readings for people, and the cards are available on my website as well. Anytime people see them, they often ask and wonder if they can do this on their own. And absolutely, this is meant to be a self-guided tool. And um, yeah, if you're particularly stuck, having a reading and having that guidance can be helpful. But you can also do this work, regularly with yourselves. Wow.
And this is simple, yet it is so, so complex. Not complex exactly, but profound. It's deep
Yes. Yeah.
because um, when you are closing your eyes, you're kind of visualizing things, and when you say that you're opening the portal and then closing the portal, um, so it's like this light or this huge, not huge, but like a ray of energy coming, showing on us, and imagining, reimagining that how taking back what is rightfully ours, or maybe unlocking that inner power within us means to us. So those can be really, very therapeutic but beautiful experiences.
Yes. Yes. I thank you for the opportunity to experience it and share it. It's hard to explain sometimes without like seeing it in action. So I find this to be the most helpful way to this is what this
Mhm.
can look like. So thank you.
Thank you, Kerry. Thank you. And this was really, really personally very, very therapeutic for me. I
Mm.
uh, at least it gave me that uh, kind of hint that okay, now I can myself think about this and myself have this option to heal me within, inside out. And this is performative healing, so I think
Mm.
this is applicable for anyone. So I mean, there's no particular that only entrepreneurs or maybe a person who is going through something can use this. So I think that's the beauty of shadow work here.
Absolutely. We can point it in different directions at different times. If we need it in our business, if we need it in something with our health or body, if we need it in a relationship, it can really reflect back what is the energy that's creating stagnancy or lack of clarity. Uh, I just love the versatility of the work. It can be available anywhere.
Absolutely. And Kerry, if our listeners would like to get in touch with you, get a hold of the work you do, and also explore more about shadow work, what will be the best way to do that?
Yeah, come over to my website, messagesfromshadow.com, and you can see, yeah, all that is to offer, and also my offerings for spiritual entrepreneurs. I have a free money journal, and also I do wisdom drops via text message. So lots of ways to connect depending on where you are and what you need.
Wonderful. I'll make sure to have all the links in the show notes. And Kerry, thank you so much. This was certainly, it looks like a soul mirror. And you have reminded us that healing isn't about fixing what's broken, but it is honoring what's hidden. So thank
Mm.
you.
Thank you for getting it. I love the words you used. Really an honor to be here with you, Santa. Thanks for having me back.
So, to all the listeners, if something stirred in you today, it did within me, of course. Don't rush to just fix it. Sit with it, soften, and let it teach you. Because in the shadows, there is gold, and in receptivity, there is power. So, with that, keep listening to the whispers of your soul and let them guide you home. This is your host, Sana, signing off from Cosmic Confluence. Thank you.